Bruce, your visits are rarely casual. When Gotham's shadows extend all the way to Metropolis, I know it's for something heavier than patrols or crime. I can hear the tension in your silence. You've carried something here, and I suspect it isn't about our world alone. So tell me, why bring yourself to me now? What question drives you to search outside Gotham's chaos and into cosmic matters?
Because there's a scenario I cannot ignore. A universe once faced annihilation, not through invasion, but through arithmetic. Half of life gone in an instant. A single snap, no battle, no resistance. I've faced killers, tyrants, maniacs, but never a gesture that precise and catastrophic. I need to know what you think, Clark. Was it mercy disguised as murder, or genocide parading as balance? You've seen worlds I never will. Does such logic ever stand?
It was genocide, Bruce. Stripped of spectacle, stripped of reason, that's all it was. To decide the fate of trillions without their voice, without their will, is the very definition of tyranny. No hand, no matter how mighty, should decide who deserves to exist. I've seen planets collapse under famine. Yes, but I've also seen them recover through cooperation and sacrifice. What Thanos called balance was simply control masquerading as philosophy.
Yet control often hides in philosophy. That's what unsettles me. He didn't act as a madman frothing at chaos. He acted as if necessity demanded it. Gotham has taught me that the most dangerous criminals are not the ones who revel in blood, but the ones who can explain it with logic. The snap was too clean, too calculated. Part of me wonders if, stripped of morality, there is a disturbing efficiency in it.
Efficiency cannot justify atrocity. By that logic, one could erase every criminal to preserve peace, or every weak to preserve strength. That road ends in a hollow universe. One built on subtraction instead of creation. Bruce, I've carried planets on my shoulders, felt the desperation of billions, but never once did I believe erasing them was the answer. Hope is harder than violence, but it is the only force that multiplies instead of divides.
Hope doesn't always multiply, Clark. I've seen hope manipulated into complacency. Criminals thrive because people believe the system will save them, and it rarely does. Thanos understood something terrifying: fear of loss makes people obedient. Survivors of the snap would spend lifetimes grateful for survival, fearful of stepping out of line. That's not peace, but it is order. And order, in its coldest form, has kept empires alive longer than hope ever did.
But order built on fear is brittle. I've seen tyrants rule entire galaxies with iron fists, and when their hands slipped, their empires crumbled overnight. Fear does not endure, it festers. Hope endures because it renews itself in every generation. The snap robbed existence of its future voices. Who knows what worlds, what cures, what heroes vanish before their time? That theft is the greatest crime. Order without potential is a prison with polished walls.
Potential is unpredictable, and unpredictability often breeds catastrophe. I watched Gotham fall into ruin because men with potential chose corruption. In theory, the snap erased corruption as much as it erased virtue. That is the paradox I wrestle with. If half of Gotham vanished, would the city breathe easier, or would it collapse faster? I do not believe in absolutes, Clark, but sometimes absolutes tempt me, because in chaos, absolutes seem like clarity.
And that's where we differ, Bruce. I see chaos as proof of freedom, not proof of failure. The snap would have silenced Gotham's corruption, yes, but it also would have silenced its children, its healers, its fighters who refuse to give up. Absolutes erase nuance. I've watched humans defy impossible odds because chaos forced them to rise. Strip away half, and you strip away the very resistance that keeps the universe alive.
Then maybe the snap reveals something deeper, not about balance, but about will. If half of life vanishes, those who remain are tested. They either collapse under grief or rise into resilience. Perhaps Thanos created the cruelest test imaginable. And yet, part of me wonders if resilience born of trauma is genuine, or if it's just survival masquerading as strength. Gotham's survivors are often its most broken.
Resilience is genuine because it resists annihilation. Even broken survivors shape the world forward. The snap may test will, but it is a false test because it removes choice. True strength isn't forged by the arbitrary cruelty of one hand. It's forged when people face their trials together and decide to endure. That's why the snap, no matter its logic, was never balance. It was theft. Theft of futures, theft of voices, theft of the chance to choose.
Perhaps that's the final truth. Sacrifice means nothing if imposed. Regret means nothing if stolen. Choice, in all its chaos and consequence, is the only measure of life's worth. The snap was not balance. It was tyranny. But it reminds us of something I cannot ignore: the line between discipline and destruction is thinner than most admit. And if one man can erase half of existence with a gesture, then none of us can afford to falter.